This is the Jon and Tam Jam Podcast. Hello everybody. Welcome to our sixth episode of our podcast. I know it's been a minute since we've been here together. Welcome to the show, Tam.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, um it's been a minute. Yeah, a lot of stuff's been going on. I wanted to catch up on what we've been up to the last couple weeks. I'm going to address some controversy that happened a couple days ago and something fun that happened last night. And um, I wanted to uh, check and see. We had some ideas uh, of what it is we were, going to talk about. Yeah, I'll just put in the description what our episode topics are going to be today. I think I'm going to talk about Oasis and is there any topics you wanted to discuss today, hon?
Yeah, just a random question. I'll think of the top of my head as I go.
All right, so she's going to improvise a little bit then.
The top of my head as I go.
All right, so she's going to improvise a little bit then.
The top of my head as I go.
So yeah, so today's topic. The first thing. Okay, so about 2 weeks ago, I went to a. I did a road trip. I haven't done a road trip in quite some time. And also today, we have Omid in the chat. Omid, if you have any he's him in see moderator. Oh, okay, moderator. Sorry, a black joker. That's I thought. We got 4 people in the chat. That's quite a lot of people today. Yeah, well, welcome everyone to episode 6 of our. We haven't done a live. It's been a while since we did a live podcast. I mean, we do what we do is we'll do them unlisted. Sometimes we'll use a computer. What the?
More people?
16 views. Holy
Oh
crap!
my god.
Wow. Let's see. Hi, Yasem Birch. How you doing? Now it's back down to 8. Okay, so
Wow.
that was an interesting spike. So yeah, 2 weeks ago, I went to Pasadena and other parts of LA with my brother Elijah. Elijah. Do I know Elijah? All right. Well, let me know how we know each other. Or if you're just tuning in for the first time, I'm always happy to talk to
New people.
new people. All right, so let's get this squared away. So yeah, we went to Pasadena, my brother and I, and we went to a concert at the Rose Bowl. So we did a couple other things that day. That weekend. My brother used to live in the LA area. He caught up with some friends. We stayed at his friend Jackson's house, which is a really nice pad he's got in the North LA area, and it was in Burbank kind of place, and then we did tennis. We went to different places, for to check out stores to eat. Um, and then Sunday, the big deal. No, I used to play Roblox, but not anymore. Um, but anyway, um, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Me, if might join the chat at some point. He's actually currently in San Francisco now with his friend Greg. They're gonna go meet Mario, and so yeah, Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if for me, if you have any updates on that at some point, feel free to come back in the chat. So yes, so Sunday, my brother and I, we went and saw. There's Omid. Hi. I was just saying to the audience, if you have any, let us know how your, you love you too, man. Let me know how meeting Mario goes with you and your buddy Greg. You know, I mean, you know, obviously, I can't like invite you onto the stream right now because you live, you're busy, but you're out and about. But yeah, you know what? Next show, we'll see if we can we can invite you on again and see if you want to share your time with at the Nintendo World. So yeah, so we went to the Rose Bowl and we went and go see Oasis, and this was the first concert my brother and I went to probably since we were kids. Like we saw, I mean, we've been to like little like events here and there, but in terms of like a big like stadium audience type show, hi Linda Stone, welcome to the stream. Oh, yeah, me too. I heard apparently Mario's going to be there tomorrow too, so maybe I might have an opportunity to see him again. Um, yeah, yeah. I really want. I mean, I was thinking of doing Super Nintendo World, but we already spent like quite a couple $100 as it was already. So I looked at tickets and they were like Disneyland numbers tickets, but I at some point I know one place we're thinking about doing in January is uh, Anime Destiny. So that'll be on the list. That'll be on the list of places. And so yeah, the concert was great. So it was this like indie band from Liverpool cast. They seem to have. Hold on one moment. Tammy, could you take care of that really quick? Yeah, we're just having a little. We're dog sitting and we're having a little little incident here. Yeah, thank you. Uh, but yeah, the show was great. And then my brother and I were kind of like, these guys were not that great. I mean, they had like a kind of a somewhat throwback Beatles sound to them, but maybe she must have ate too much. And then Cage the Elephants opened up, and Mac, my brother, was definitely a lot more into them than I was. I knew a couple of their song. I knew "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." I didn't know there. Like, you ever go to a concert and you see this band, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to. Yeah, I'm just gonna have. Sorry, I'm gonna have to you keep repeating yourself. So I don't know if you're an actual bot or not. But yeah, so so then Oasis played, and oh my God, it was just an amazing show concert, and like I think I was just like super. I remember like I was singing my heart out with the song Supersonic, and the brothers just have not missed a beat. Liam Noel Gallagher, they're just still like I would never have guessed they were in their 50s. Like they still like I mean when I saw the Rolling Stones, they were in their 50s, and you could tell they were in their 50s. I was not. I mean, they're still like even especially Keith Richards, they're still in relatively good shape. But yeah, that was a good. So yeah, I was a great show. We got to meet the guys, Max's friends who were staying with. We got to meet him after the show. We went back, and then Max and I did a long road trip, and then on our way back, we got to see Tammy, and my brother got to meet Tammy's sister. And what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was shocking. My sister thought he was you. You guys look so similar.
We
Yeah.
we do get that a lot, and I know like when we met her again and your other sister and your other sister
Yeah.
on last Sunday, they were in contrast saying how different each of you looked, and
Yeah, we do look look different. We never look. Our family doesn't look the same.
Yeah, so yeah, and that was a good weekend. My brother and I haven't again we haven't like had a bond like that in a long time. I haven't. I don't even think we did a road trip like that. At least not the two of us before. I think we did a trip to, like Oregon and stuff. Like when we were younger. So then, yeah. So now after that goes by, not too much happened. Me and Tam would get together. Again for a bit. It was a good visit. Weekdays are just kind of pretty mundane. Like I don't really like to. There's not really a whole lot that I want to discuss about the weekdays because a lot of the times I'm out driving or I'm trying to find another job. So this is a hobby, folks. We're not expecting to become rich off this. Listen, if you want to share the stream and you want to be a contributor to the channel, it's always welcome. I'm lucky that even to this day I've had this channel for about 17 years now, and I do add videos again. I take breaks from uploading videos, so I'm grateful that I've still had this channel and I've gotten to experiment with different things. I've had different shows, so I'm always grateful if anyone actually listens. We're still getting started. I've talked to a couple of people about potentially guest starring in the show. But yeah, at some point, I don't know if I don't know how we're gonna be able to include it in this video, but at some point we'll include some footage from, I'll probably make a compilation video to upload later at a later date of all the activities we talked about on this channel, and we're going to talk about pretty soon. So I'm kind of just doing everything in chronological order here. So this is the big topic I want to discuss. I don't want to end the show on a sour note, so I'm going to talk about this topic right now. And Tammy is witness to all this, so I'm going to try not to be angry. I really shouldn't be angry. It's really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. And she can she can comment on this too, get her perspective on it too. But I'll tell you what So I'm going to tell you what happened. So back when the pandemic had us go in lockdowns about from early to late 2020, people weren't really able to go outside very much, right? So like a buddy of mine, I've known this guy. His first name's Ben. I've known him since high school. He would have me join. We would do different types of RPG, like role play games. Like acting. We would act in chat rooms. We would act I think later down the road there'd be audio availability. So he invites me to this role play on Discord called 7-Star Wrestling. This was back May or April something. And basically the premise of the role play, and there's a couple other role plays like this on Discord and other places, where you get to act out a fantasy of being part of a wrestling promotion. You act out the characters. Like I played a character named Butch Vice, the Attitude Man, Butch Vice. He was a Texas. He's a Texas guy. He was part of a faction, Brawl Inc. And it was a fun role play. I was not like always the best at it. I always would fumble some of the choices I would make, and then sometimes the GM would question me about what I was doing, and I would try to rectify it, because I didn't want to piss him off. He's in charge, and I liked Ben, and I liked the people in there. But for one reason or another, we didn't always get along, and so I was in that role play for about over 2 years, right? And then
let me say something. The Texas guy.
Yep, Attitude Man, Butch Fast. That was a character I played, And then I took a break from Butch for a while and played a character named Buster Blade, like yes, the Yu-Gi-Oh card Buster Blader. And he was just more of like a chill, relaxed dude. Like, I must find my zen. I must show the world of the ways of peace, and so and so that was fun. And then I brought the character over at some point. I brought back Bush for a little bit, and then I had a heel run with him, and then that character just kind of went away. And then I brought back, but then so one day there was like, so we had this championship called the Parsec Champ title. It's basically like a 5-10 move match, and it's like basically like rock paper scissors, but like with 8 or 9 moves, right? So I was like just trying to see what would be a. So it always seemed like whenever sometimes I would come across to him like I was saying, you should do this, like I think you should do this, like I was trying, like as if I was like bossing the guy around, right? Like I was like making him feel like I wanted creative control of the show, and that was never the case. I just thought, hey, like, what if I'm just throwing it out here, and maybe that didn't translate well into like messaging. Like, just what if I did this, and maybe the wording came across as let me run my damn show. So he was always very antagonizing, and towards me, and I think a couple others, but because it almost seemed like a workplace environment where the boss just kind of liked certain people that he got along with better, and then the people he didn't get along with so well, he had a little hostility towards. So, and again, I'm not trying to. I want to preface by saying I'm not trying to play victim here. I'm not trying to say, oh, he treated me wrong, and I hate this guy. I don't like him right now. I don't wish to ever go back. I can't predict the future, and this is what I'm now. This is where I get now. We fast forward 3 years later, back about a month ago. I get a message from Ben saying, "Hey, the guy's looking to bring some people back to the game. Kind of have a clean slate, right?" And occasionally I'd check in on like, "Oh, hey, how's the role play?" Ben would say, "Oh yeah, it's still going," and then okay, oh yeah, right. Let me see what I'll tell you what happened at the last day of I was in the role play back in November 2022. So it was my brother's wedding. Like I wanted to find a good spot to do the match. I was just giving him, saying, hey, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. And, I don't know, he just accused me of trying to have creative control. And I'm just like, no, I'm just giving some options. I was like, I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm just trying my best to work what works best for you and what works best for me. And he's been able to accommodate other people before. He was able to he had leniency on some matches with people, and sometimes with me. But he never he always thought the worst about me. He thought I had some type of ulterior motive to basically like dictate what he can and can't do, and that was never the case. He's entitled to feel that way, if in his perspective. Because look, we're both on the spectrum, so he has his own perception of what is appropriate, or contextualizes it in a way where this guy's I can't deal with this guy. This guy's way too controlling, which is ironic because I think he's the one that's controlling. So he basically, said, I don't think we'll just skip you this week for the show. And because sometimes the matches would change, and I didn't want, to miss a match that was a relatively short match, like 5 to 10 moves. Like it won't take that long. And then I said, okay, well, I just was like just pointing out what slot might work for this. And then he's like, let me, he called me an asshole, and then told me like, you don't worry about when I'm gonna stick you in the show. It's my show. And then he put me, like, I don't know, on one or two occasions he put me on timeout, and I don't understand. I feel like he thinks this is like an actual promotion, like a real life wrestling promotion, and apparently he has worked for real life wrestling promotions. So I think he emulates, like he thinks this is a real. I feel like he thinks this is a real show, and it's not a real show. We're just having fun. We're just playing. Um, you know, I just always wanted to have good dialogue with the guy, and just and then see where he's coming from. And but the guy just keeps thinking the way I talk to him is hostile, and so he kind of clapbacks with that, with his hostility, and saying, no, what you said was wrong. This is not how you're supposed to say it to me. You're supposed to say it this way, because like and then I did try to own up to my mistake, but the guy, he just like he doesn't like take accountability into, like, sometimes he can be a little like overreactive active. He's admitted to in the past, but in this particular situation, he did not see himself in the wrong, in any way. He took no accountability. He thinks he was 100% in the right. He didn't want to, like, even say, hey, sorry for calling you asshole. And then I got mad and I said, that's your problem. And the vast majority of the people in the role play at the time, I even talked to them. They said he was too harsh, but for some reason or other, again, I don't know. I feel like they treat this like a real job. They like the boss, and they like their position in the company, even though nobody gets effing paid. They're still there. Well, for whatever reason, I'm not. It's their if they like the role play and they want to stay on and they just want to just mind their own business, more power to them. But if people, it's like the workplace. If coworkers see the boss is being harsh to one of the other employees, the ones that he's not as nice to as the others, they won't say anything because they like the position they're in. They like being butting elbows with the boss, right? And I've been in workplaces like that, and there was times they did like me, but then there was times where, they didn't, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But, so we're invited back a month ago, right? Narcissism, there's no cure for that. Yep, that's true. So we're invited back a month later. I'm invited back a month later, and I wasn't sure because I just felt like there just was not a way. I just feel like it wouldn't last very long. Like I could do it for like a month or two, and then there would be some kind of miscommunication or misinterpretation, and right away there already was one. So they started doing their wrestling streams on Twitch. Like before that, it was just confined to the Discord server. But one of the guys has a Twitch stream. I don't know if I want to plug this. Maybe next time I'll maybe in the description I'll make, because it's not the GM that runs it. It's one of the members of the role play that runs the stream. And the guy said I talked to the GM. Hey, can I get the link to the live stream? And he said the live stream wasn't available. And then I'm like, what if can I just come into the room and just, like, we'll talk about it after the show. And so right away, like, I feel like this guy I feel like there's a trust issue here, because there's people that were still in that server that didn't even participate anymore. So why is it that he has this neuroses to let me back in? So I reach out to Ben, and I just say, hey, why don't I listen in on the show? There was like some technical difficulties when I tried reaching out to him, and he thought I was asking for a link to get inside. So I get in the link, and the guy's furious. Like, I told you I'll talk to you after the show. And then when we talked after the show, all he did was go, why'd you do that? I told you to wait. Like, he was just confrontational like he was before. And I just said, hey, listen, I thought it was okay. I was just wanting to listen on the show since there's no live stream this week. And so I asked, hey, I wanted to see if I can listen on Ben's side. And then like, why are you blaming Ben? And even though again, like it's like a Mr. Burns, Mr. Smithers things, and I was like Homer Simpson in this scenario. And listen, I told him I was going through some hard times. Like I'm not trying to like overstep boundaries here. I'm just like I just want to. I'm the reason I'm coming back is I wanted to do a fun activity once a week for me and my girlfriend because the last time I did this role play, it took up a lot of my time. I could have spent with the person I was with previously, and that didn't end the relationship, but it was definitely one of the things that one of the least good aspects of it. So and I so he like said he'd think it over, and then I started a group because I just like was kind of like feeling like it would be better if like maybe it was three of us communicated. For one, because I think I feel like I needed somebody in the group chat that could kind of witness the guy's behavior and see if I'm like, am I crazy? Am I the one who like is he like if is he like just has like antagonizing me for is it something that I did that was wrong? And yeah, so we were the three of us. We were just I threw him some ideas of what our tag team would be. He thought it was an interesting idea, and then and then I didn't know because I was like, okay, when I was just thinking to myself, okay, it's been a couple weeks. Is this guy ever gonna let us in the server? Because I want to catch up with the guys. I want to refresh my memory of how the role play went. And then I kind of give him a little hint like, oh hey, I hope we go on the server soon, right? And then I'm just like, he's just radio silent. Like then the day of the show, like the day before the day of the show, I'm like, hey, listen, if you're not interested in having us on the next week's show, because there's just no way Tammy's going to be able to learn all this in like a week. So if you want, maybe you could let us in now, and then we can listen to next week's show, and then we could debut the following week. And the guy was like, or how about you let me decide when you can come in the room? You're acting awfully a lot like you were when we previously role played, and then I edited it. I edited the previous message to making it sound like, hey, I'm merely suggesting it. And he said, you sound pretty passive. The fact that you went and edited the comments in caps, like this is not going to work out. Reject the offer. And then he starts up the role play, and then I'm calling him, and he says, hey, you effing moron, I'm doing my show right now. And first of all, no, you're not, because usually it takes about 5-10 minutes for more people to show up, because I know how I was in the role play. I know how it worked. And so I just messaged him, hey, how am I being passive? I'm not sure what I did that was wrong. And I just, and he wasn't responding. I gave him like half an hour to respond. And I was just angry at that point, because I've been waiting to finally get back in this role play, and then I just kind of storm off. I storm on him. I just said, you know what, I'm trying to be nice here. I just want to do a fun role play, and just have a good time. And I don't know why you're assuming because you just always seem to assume the worst out of me. You name call me, and you have a short temper. And you know what? I don't want my girlfriends to be in this type of environment anyway. So, I told him to go to hell, never invite me back on, and the last thing I saw of his response was he just did a laughing emoji to it. And then I was like, and then I think the last thing I said was, oh, by the way, most people agree that you're in the wrong here, but they're afraid to tell you. And then I had to block Ben on most of my social media accounts, and now we're still friends on an account I don't really use that much, so I don't really have an incentive to block him there. But I'm just told him just never invite me back, and I'm done. And and there was times where I wanted to hang out with Ben, but now I'm just like, I don't really want to meet him. We've never met in person, but we've talked about it a couple times. But Now I don't want to. Now I don't want to even like. He's an acquaintance. He's not a friend. So unfortunately, that. But this is the purpose. This okay, because I want the GM to understand something. I am not when it comes to dialogue via text. Like I don't know. Like listen, my perception of the world. People on the spectrum, they're gonna have vastly different perspectives. Some people on the spec like I have two friends who have or both have some type of neurodivergency, and they have kind of similar viewpoints of the world, and they can get along okay. As but then I'm one of those guys. I do get along with two, but the other guy I don't. It just happened because I think Ben's is neurodivergent too. I don't know to what degree, but two people just it's just the dialogue. It's just like they're in line. I just feel like we're out of sync, and the guy just I don't know. He is so confrontational. Like he treats this like a real job. Nobody gets paid to do this unless I don't know, maybe this Twitch, maybe they're trying to get people in the Twitch stream to do it, and maybe they're getting some money. I don't know. And the game itself is fun. It's a fun game, but it's not worth all this all these hoops and hurdles to go through. And so, but but I'm gonna say this. So this is what I'm going. This is what I want. Like at Lucha Lore, if you like, yeah, Lucha Lore LORE on Discord, you are welcome to reach out to me, and if you want to be a part of the show and get your side of things, because your mindset, your philosophy, because you're like, oh, I'm a counselor, I know how certain people behave. That's great. I'm great. I'm glad you have that type of educational background, but sometimes people don't want to make their separate personal life their work life too. So sometimes it's easy to make those mistakes, but I just want you, you're welcome. Listen, if you want to leave a comment, if you want to, send me an email, I think zomgrose@yahoo.com. That's the best way to reach me. If you can leave a comment on this channel. Tammy's too impure for that environment. Sorry. Thank you, Omid. Yes, I agree. So, I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even know if I ever really. Yeah, I'm not trying to get in, but I just want to. I just want to know from your perspective what I did wrong, because I genuinely do not get what I did that was so wrong in your eyes. And I know there's people like you that you're not the first person to think I was acting a certain way, saying things a certain way, out of the contextually different from your mindset to my mindset. It's the internet. People on the internet it's not like it's all face value. It's all surface level. It's superficial. There's no real gray area. There's not much nuance when it comes to people on the internet. But all right, but Tammy, let me get what do you feel like based on your interaction with the guy and everything I just said about my history with the guy? Do you think like I could have communicated better to him, or do you think he just went too far?
You did everything you could. He just being a bitch.
Well, good thing I
Yeah.
filtered the show to no, it's not for kids. It's it's
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah, he should say something nicer, but he didn't. You did your best, but he just being a jerk there.
Yeah, and I'll even have even when I told Ben what happened, it's like, oh, these things happen. It's not just he did a goodwill hunting on me. It's not your fault, But the truth is, listen, I don't really care if he never responds. I don't care anymore. I don't even if we reconcile, I don't want to go in this role play. I just want to know like what your mindset is. And so in the future, if I ever do decide to do a game like this with somebody else, I'll and if I do the things I do with that in that role play, and they say something different about how I'm handling it than you did, then I don't think I'm the problem here. But again, you're welcome to prove me wrong. You're welcome to get your side of the story, but you got to understand something. The last Thursday, all day Thursday, and most of Friday, I was in a very I was depressed. I called all my friends, including Omid. I called my family. I called my therapist. I was it was the lowest I've been since my engagement ended last year. And if people know, the people that know me know what that was like for me. And going through that type of pain of rejection and confusion. And again, I'm not trying to play victim here. I'm just giving you my perspective. And I could be 100% or 90 to 100% wrong here. I could. But what you did to me, Luchador, what you've done to me these past, like the first 2 years and then this past month, is unacceptable narcissistic behavior. And you might disagree, but I showed people what you said to me, and everyone agrees. You are a narcissist, and you need to work on that. And I would rather do this show twice a week than ever enter your server again for 1 week. Because I can't deal. I know I've dealt with people like you where I'm excluded from something because I said something out of context, or I accidentally hurt somebody and they don't talk to me for 3 years. These things, the way you talk to people, can have a profound effect on their lives, and you don't realize it. There's that term, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's not true. I've been guilty of this too. Listen, I'm not a saint. I've said things that hurt people. The difference is I feel bad about it, and I reflect on it, and I apologize. Sometimes they accept my apology, sometimes they don't, and that's okay. We're all human. No one's perfect. But you are welcome to come on. Maybe you'll double down on your point of view, and that's fine too. Or maybe you might get some of my points. But ultimately, the point is, let them cook. Chief J. Pros cook.
Oh my God.
The point is, I'm saying this not just because I'm playing victim. The point I want to make this is, if there's anyone out there that's dealt with what I went through to be part of this pro wrestling role play, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're definitely, there's nothing wrong with you. They are the problem, not you. They don't wish to confront the root of why they feel the way they feel, other than, I'm a counselor, I know people's emotions inside and out. Okay, great. I don't know. Is it all in person? Have you done any remote? Do you separate work from play? Because my neighbor is a therapist. If I had the money, I could probably just go and right next door, and talk to her. But that would be what's the word? Counterintuitive, not counterintuitive. That would be counterproductive. It would be mixing work with play, and you can't separate that. So so again, this was one of the most frustrating experiences of my life, and I couldn't keep it bottled up inside. I needed to vent. I needed to share this, and it makes it even worse, the fact that I thought this guy could be rational again. Ben had insisted that he was more mellow, a bit nicer, more humble, but he still acted the way he did 3 years ago to me. And I feel like that's abuse. and he's gonna probably, if he ever listens to this, he'll probably go, "Oh no, you're playing victim. Listen, people, this is actually what happened. This is what Butch, John, Buster, whoever was actually like dealing with. He just simply did not follow the rules, etc., etc." Okay, I am willing. Okay, I'm willing to hear you out, and maybe I'll agree with you to some degree. But your execution of handling it, and you still didn't like self-reflect on how you handled it for the last 3 years. That tells me you have, maybe you're not a narcissist, but you have narcissistic tendencies, lucha lore, or the GM Chris. Well, I don't know, or I mean, but I don't know what kind of social media you have. But if you want to leave a comment, and we could have a debate, we could have a civil debate. I've had no quarrels to not apologize. I had no dog in this fight. I was willing to admit when I was wrong, and and I'll say this: you had shown signs on a couple of occasions, not very often, but you've acknowledged, yeah, okay, you're right, That's more within the context of the game, more instead of like out of when we're stopped role playing, we're out of character. But yeah, I mean that's all I really wanted to say about that. I'm not. My goal was not to just go, lucha lore, go F yourself. That's not what I was trying to do here. Or, maybe there was a little hint of that, but, again, so, like, what do you think, like, what advice, like, does that ever happen? Does anything like that ever happen to you, Tammy, where it's like you get kicked out of a club, or they're trying to let you back in? It's like the episode of SpongeBob where Squidward gets kicked out of a club because of a misunderstanding, and then he's like, they try to get him back in, but then they like find something wrong and they kick him out again, like right after. So, has anything like that ever happened to you?
No, it never happened, but I see it happen to people. So sometimes the host is more wrong than them.
And do you think Lucha Lore might have had some narcissistic tendencies?
I think so. He he does.
Yeah, and now this will transition now to our final topic, which was last night, and it kind of there's this little interconnectivity with um the last topic a little bit. So I'm gonna like in passing reference the previous topic with this one. So I've a YouTuber. So back in 2016, I was not in a happy place. I was in kind of a similar place to what I am now. When I was at this point in time, I'd gone through a breakup. I had health problems. I was hitting rock bottom, and because I was really looking forward to go seeing Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. And usually there's a colloquial narrative that if critics don't like it, then it's labeled a bad movie, right? And what happened? Most of the critics didn't like it, right? And it bothered me to no end because when I saw the movie, I'm like, yeah, I guess I could see the points, but I feel like there was like, you look at the tomato meter, 28% of critics, like that's a lot of critics that have been negative, and I'm just like, then, I don't know. And now there's the debate about whether or not the Ultimate Edition would have gotten better reviews if that had been the version that got released initially. We'll never know. But I came across, some YouTubers, and then I heard about some controversy going on with a guy named Jon Campea, and I remember like he doing like on the press junkets, he interviewing like Gwen Stacy actors Emma Stone and Bryce Dallas Howard, and he was like I think the first person to acknowledge that they Dallas Howard played the role in Spider-Man 3, and Emma Stone would go on to play the role of Gwen Stacy in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And he was just he had a really good thing to say because there's all the this online noise discourse about the MCU is the gold standard, and DC. Like for the longest time, that was like even like up until right before Superman came out, and it's still there. But now I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a paradigm shift where I'm seeing more and more people come out and praise what James Gunn's doing with DC, and there's more trepidation with what's going on with Marvel. But we'll see how Doomsday plays out. So, John Campea is going to be in the next year or so. He's going to, retire, and I've had my own like kind of like disagreements with him, and his show had kind of, I don't know, his show just kind of, the formula didn't really change all that much. So like I couldn't really, because if you listen to a podcast for a bit, you kind of, because they have guests on to keep the show fresh, and and sometimes you'd have like, you had other YouTubers on like Sean Chandler, and I even suggested he should do like a collaboration with Nostalgia Critic, because now that he's traveling the country, if he's ever in Chicago. um but I still felt like I had to meet him. He's had a rough year. His mom passed away, and I think he just, his grandparents have passed away a couple years before that. So he's been, he'd been living in California. So, and all of his family live up in the great north of Canada. So, he's been having a rough year, and I haven't like gone back and watched the shows religiously. And he was very funny saying, hey, I understand, the schedule can be tough because they do 5 shows. But, I was glad to have met him. We ended up seeing the movie Psycho, and this was Tammy's first time seeing the movie. It came out in 1960, and I had not seen it in a theater. I had seen this movie Psycho, but it had been many, many years ago. And so, like, so I have 2 questions for you, Tammy. I'll let you answer both of them.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the movie, and what did you think of John Campea?
Oh, first time I see the movie in black and white, so the movie, the ending was shocking. I didn't know that the twist was there will be something in the basement, and he will be the one had 2 personality. That was shocking. And John Kennedy, he wasn't. I guess we didn't watch some of his clip. He's a nice YouTuber. He answered all his fan questions as he can.
Yeah, you know what I'll do? I think what I'll do for the thumbnail is I will include a picture of my meeting with him. I decided to wear my Beach Boy shirt. I considered wearing the Superman shirt, but I figured somebody else would wear a Superman shirt there. And I told them I decided to wear this because I wanted to dedicate it to the memory of Brian Wilson, and that Love and Mercy was my favorite musical biopic. And he'd point out, oh yeah, somebody mentioned that movie the other day on the show. And I haven't really been fully tuning in, but I did. I was after the movie ended, I did talk to John for about 5 minutes, and I did tell him about because the thing is, even though people had great points and great compelling things to say about what had transpired on Discord, I don't know. I like all of my because it's the same way John Campea addressed the nasty Marvel versus DC tribalism in one of his videos back in those days. The same way, seeing that he said he had a bad day. He's driving around the country, with his wife, but also sometimes, in this case, he wasn't, because her wife was on a business trip in Pennsylvania. I think because her company's based there, and so he had to drive. He's driving to Seattle by himself. He's in that big van by himself, and as somebody who's driven like night hours, like that is not an easy thing to do. So the guy was just he really went above and beyond for these people. He didn't ask for money. He didn't, whereas other YouTubers I've met, well, James Rolfe was kind of nice. He didn't charge me, but a lot of other ones, they expect to get some in Tyra Max too, but some, they're paid to be at the event. Like he was scheduled to be at the event. He didn't want to treat it like he was like a special guest of honor. He just wanted to be a regular guy that happened to go to the movies. And he's very much the same guy you see on camera as he is in real life, which is rare, because I see people and their mannerisms and inflections are in real life, they're they're more leveled down a little bit to a degree, but they're still like I don't know I can't like I mean I sometimes I've met big name recognition people at conventions, and sometimes like it'll be like what happened in the role play, where I could like have a neurotic tendency to say the wrong thing, or something happens out of context. All right, hey Omid, hey, have a good time, man. We're gonna probably do this for like 10 more minutes, but give us your feedback on what the Mario is like. I met you. You're going to meet the Mario. I met the Giovanni Campea. That's John's real name, Giovanni. But his family would call him Johnny, and Johnny's who grew up. And I talked to the guy, and I tell him I'm sorry you're having a tough day. Like, listen, I can relate. I told him the story about what happened, and just like I don't know, he didn't he didn't respond to it, but he like looked at me like saying sinking it all in, like, wow, yeah, that's tough. And I don't know, maybe that cheered him up, like what maybe it made his bad day not seem as bad. And yeah, my anger was like when the day that happened, I was like having a hyperbolic fixation or hyperfixation. I was angry. I was waking up in the middle of the night, and I thought maybe I had to go to psychiatric hospital because I was just so angry and bitter about what had transpired. But I don't know. Seeing John just kind of made me feel better. Especially after he said he's been having a bad day, and I'm like, well, yeah, hey, listen, man, I'm right there with you. But being out here cheered him up, and I was cheered up doing something because I'd never met I mean, and John definitely, he feels he's more niche. He doesn't feel like he's that famous. I mean, he said himself he had 400 million views on his channel. That's like what, like 2%. Like if those were individual people, they're not. It's probably a lot of them are the same people. But if they were, that'd be about like 4%. Like I think or 2 or 3% of planet Earth, which is not nothing, right? That's not a nobody number. Like I only have 200 plus subscribers on my channel, and I have like 120 something people on my Twitter channel. So I'm not famous at all. Like I am nicher than niche. Like even when I did Ramo and Half, like we were probably far more obscure than any other abridger that was doing. Like Team Four Star are probably as popular as John Campea. Nostalgia Critic, like it is definitely a niche demographic. Like they're not like on the level of like say a Jimmy Kimmel, which I know, like right now, a lot of people are mad at Disney for understandable reasons, or a late night talk show host like those guys. But he is a very humble individual, and I asked him some. I got to say most of the things I wanted to say to him, and I'm gonna send him an email of the photos, and yeah, like all like the hyperfixation just like largely went away after that. I think also doing this podcast today also helped me. Justice for Jimmy. Yeah, yeah. Yep, Justice for Jimmy Kimmel. And a lot of people have been canceling their Disney Plus and Hulu services because of that. I didn't really need one because Mom had it on the living room TV. But yeah, no, it is like late night shows are dying, but there's I don't know. I think if Disney had offered him like a different show, like maybe that's more podcast friendly, maybe that's more I don't know, that's more in touch, like in a new format, I think people would have been less angry. But like outright saying, "Oh, he's suspended for the unforeseeable future," that's going like you ask yourself as a company, like what did you think was going to happen? Like whenever I hear a company do something really egregious, like whether it's David Zaslav, like axing certain shows on streaming and library content like libraries like some certain Cartoon Network shows like Sesame Street, like I don't know I don't know I feel like there'll always be a home for shows like that somewhere, whether it's via bootleg or another streaming service takes it. But you gotta like tell yourselves, what do you think's gonna happen? Like people who are, because not everybody who like has HBO Max or Disney. Like I mean, I think Disney stock dropped by 7%, so it was definitely significant. The cancellation slash suspension of the Kimmel Show. Um, but and I wasn't actually really planning on really addressing the Kimmel Show on this podcast, but it was amongst the people I talked to at the show, at the meet and greet. Like was brought up. It was kind of unavoidable that somebody was going to bring it up, and I'm not gonna like get into the politics of it all, because there's a lot I could talk about with that. I mean, if you guys want me to express my feelings about the political climate right now, like I'll see if the support is there. But some of you might like my opinion, some of you might not like it. So it's really hard for me to really have a full honest opinion about that. Um, but yeah, no, it was a great event. It was I had a lot of fun. I really was, great. I think Tammy also being there, like with me, by my side, has been wonderful. And
Yeah, I will help in any way I can
like
for you.
she's like really like the salt of the earth. She's really been like a true wonderful person, and I'm glad to do the show with her. And I'm just eternally grateful for all you listening and listening to us, listening to what we have to say. And like I'm glad Tammy got to say more today, because I know a lot of the times, I mean, she's still just getting used to it. I'm also here for you, bro, as well. Thank you so much, man. And next show we're hoping to get more, because we want to make this some more, like we want this to be a more open discussion. I am always open to like whether it's Lucha Lore, whether it's Tammy Omeed, or or Travis, who's done contributed to the show. Um, and up there he is now. Hey, speaking of which, speaking of the devil, hey, we hope to have you on next week, bud. You see, you got the sun emoji. That's great. Yeah, thank you for contributing to the channel, and thank you, Omid, for contributing to the channel. Like this honestly, yeah, doing this podcast is kind of a more healing experience for me than any role play ever was. Like it was always a stressful thing, and the guy would say, "Oh, if you guys aren't having fun, just let me know," and it's, and he can't help it. He choose it's his show. He chooses the dates. Well, whereas with the podcast, we can, we don't have to do this every week. Like I think the last show was like what, 2-3 weeks ago. It doesn't have to be an every week thing, especially as Oh, all right, all right, cool, great. We look forward to the next show. I'll just let you know the dates. And I just and we're not like trying to be professionals here. We're just trying to just have a good talk. Like I would rather have like 10 people like me than for who I am, than 100 people that like me on like a superficial level. And you guys are, there's definitely, like, I feel like the number 10 sounds about right. Like, 'cause I'm counting you, Tammy, and counting you, Omid, Travis, and Nick, other people in my circle that have never steered me wrong, like, or at the very least have rarely steered me wrong. I'm glad, we can have listen, I will disagree with you guys on a number of subjects, and that's okay, as long as we have a mutual understanding of respect, and that we're all human, that we all make mistakes. And yeah, I'm also gonna probably talk about wrestling today. I'm going to try, and or tomorrow I'm gonna try to watch WrestlePalooza, and maybe if you ever get a chance to watch it, Travis, we can do a review of that show. Because yeah, this is kind of this is a general. This is not like a nerd. This is not like a Star Wars show. It's not a Marvel DC show. It's not a WWE show. It's general nerd topic shows. One week we could talk about Star Trek. One week we could talk about Doctor Who, or
Following that, Power Rangers, then DC, then Marvel, then Star Wars, or or whatever's currently going on in the world. Like I want to make this a very diverse environment, because what like let's just put political affiliations aside. Like I kind of want the show to be like a kind of a Joe Rogan kind of experience. Pun intended there. I'm down excited for Punk AJ Rollins Becky. Yeah, that's been kind of like the more interesting feud about all this, and well, I'm just kind of like not like I have my you know morals about the whole women can slap men thing, but men can't touch women in the wrestling kayfabe, especially when it used to be a two-way street back in the day. But I get it. It's today's culture and social norms, and how women are still treated in society. I get it. I get why they do it like that. I don't agree with it. I'd rather just have it be neither opposite sex hit each other if that's going to be the case. But it is what it is. I mean, I guess if it fits the story, then I mean, I think like they probably didn't need to do it that way, but they probably found a way around that. But if this was the best way to tell the story, then so be it. So yeah, I think we're about wrapping up the podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Is there any final words you want to say to our lovely audience, Tam?
Yeah, you say I guess.
And I'm glad we did this together. And I don't know if this will be the actual. We might re-upload this more edited version. I mean, it's up to Travis. Travis has always been good at editing the show. He contributed to the music of the show. But I think I got my point across too. Like sometimes it's okay to do a show unfiltered. Some people do like John Campea, for example. He'll do a show live. Sometimes he'll do it taped. It just really depends. Like just like in WWE, sometimes they'll do a live show. Sometimes they'll tape the live show. It just really depends on the time, and there's no commitment right now to making the show like live every week. There's no incentive. You are both wonderful people and deserve all the love and support from those around you, including me. Thank you, Omid. I appreciate that. And we'll try to. I will try to grow my audience. There was a time early in the stream where 20 people were viewing me,
Yeah.
and okay, now there's a third person hopping on. But yeah, no, listen. Yeah, I'm looking forward. We'll probably have to keep the show shorter this time because we're a very low budget show, so we'll probably have it be a Zoom thing. Next show will probably not be live because we'll have to edit it. We'll have to accommodate because Travis is going to do it remotely. He's not going to be in person with us the next time we do the show. So we'll just try that. And I think that'll do it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe, share the video, give it a like. If you guys, you know what, I haven't done this before, but if you guys have any questions, I'll put my email link. Feel free to contact me at zomgrose@yahoo.com. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great day.
Bye, guys.
All right, so long.